This video goes out to the homeless lady that I saw at the gas station last night. It was raining, and I was feeling a little down. There was mud all around my house, and I decided to go to the gas station, where I saw this lady taking the lids off each garbage can, and surprisingly pulling out a lot of food. She was wearing a garbage bag as a raincoat, and I went to offer her some money. I said hello, and she looked up at me, and I can only describe as growled, scared and vicious at the same time, and she said no. I was sad and decided I'd go home and make a video, and I suppose I was no different than that lady. We could all do something else, and I would encourage her to do anything else, but even if we don't want to, we must do something. The bird must leave the nest to find a worm. If the government really cared, they would set aside a few thousand acres of public land somewhere in the southwest, even if it just had tents, for all homeless people, a place where they could garden and live free from persecution. Anyway, thanks for being here. I love you all. God bless, and welcome. And I'm actually just wrapping up my video for the week, watching it, and in that video I'm discussing this region, sometimes referred to as the Golan Heights, and this is a neutral zone. Essentially no country owns it, disputed between Israel and Syria, and there are some living here, and this is my name. There's a little song. And anyway, I just keep looking at it and checking out this area, and what a wasteland it is. Even the bulk of Israel is just desert. Up here it does get mountainous trees, and like I mentioned, this is a ski resort, Mount Hermon. No clicking today. But anyway, what caught my eye? Here I'm just, as I said, reviewing my video, and I'm looking over here going, what the hell is going on in Syria? Let's zoom out a little more, and more. So Syria is massive. Look at this. So here we can see Israel, Lebanon, this disputed region, and Syria. In the video where I was talking about trees, they were talking about knocking down the Assyrians with an A, Assyrians. And in that video I talked about how this could be a giant tree, but also as I was reading it and open for interpretation, I couldn't help but think they were talking about a nation. And I did get comments in that video, and many people suggested that same idea. Cutting down the Assyria was actually the cutting down of a people. And then I can't believe I remember this little mental tangent I had. Cire, or cire, I believe is wax in French. And then I thought about Tartaria and tar. Tar is a type of wax, especially here where I live in the Utah desert at a 5,000 foot elevation. Our biggest commodity is waxy, crude oil. And tar, asphalt, these are a product of oil. So anyway, enough of the tangent. What can I see from up here? Okay, out here it looks like a wasteland. But right away, what we see here is some super cities. Why have I never seen this before? It was enough to make me completely pause everything that I was doing today. All gone. Who am I? What is my name? Doesn't matter. Now, I seldom see this anywhere. I might see this in some metropolis in the United States. From this high up. Again, I don't think that satellites are taking these pictures. I think they're taken from planes. Even here, down here. Can you see this? Part of it is under my screen share. But it says 2024 Airbus. That's an airplane. Copyright image. There it is. It's not even a crazy idea. No. They have to tell you. But anyway, these cities. I mean, right away I'm looking at this thinking 1 million people. 1 million person city right here. I mean, I know the footprint. I know this is a big deal. I would take us over to America to show us examples, but I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to lose my focus. Here we go. Super metropolis, connecting cities, connected by super straight highways, as advanced as could be. Here we can see some modern, crappy road, and then we see these perfect Peruvian roads connecting these super cities. That's all. Major rivers, canals, super highways. This is not what the world is like over here. This is from a past people, now totally in ruins. And I say that with some confidence because before I hit record, I was zoomed into one of these cities. I'm not sure which one it was now. I should have put a pin, but let me just show you. Let's just go in and have a look. So this is a complete wasteland, but yet we have huge infrastructure and engineering everywhere. These buildings are all very impressive, and I don't think occupied. I mean, looking at the cars scattered about, I don't think this city is at its peak. It reminds me of the cities we were looking at in the City of Giants in Bashan. Here we can see a mosque, and we get some kind of pin. Awesome. Really beautiful. 2 spires. This particular city looks pretty clean. It looks like people may be occupying it, but very few cars. Difficult to say if they have electricity and plumbing. I believe this is the remains of something great, but this is just sitting in this condition. And this is why we have this great big neutral zone right over here. And in my opinion, this is the greater purpose of war. I have no doubt people are fighting and heavily emotionally involved. People are constantly losing their lives. But what we can see is propaganda can be created to justify anything. What starts as propaganda soon is handed over to individuals who, through self-virtue and righteousness, begin pushing the agenda on both sides. It's just how it works. And then the controllers can continue to work on the real plan. And this, in my opinion, is the real plan. Now, up until recently, if you would have asked me where I would like to go in this region, might have been Baalbek in Lebanon. It might have been Jordan and the ruins of Petra down here. But today, if you asked me where I would like to go, I would like to visit these former metropolis cities connected by superhighways, totally in ruins. I'm gonna have to continue this one. I'm gonna put some pins throughout these cities. This is my next project, and we'll call that part 2. Okay, part 2. So, as you know, I'm working on this app with David, and what you can see here, these are all forts. It says star forts here, and they're not all forts as we know them. Some have been destroyed, or some used to be forts and have history. Here I've clicked on this one, Castillo San Marco, established, sounds like a business, in 1868. Anyway, this is a perfect opportunity for me to try to discover what is in this area. So let's have a little zoom in. We can find our lake here, the City of Giants, and we'll include all of these super cities here. We'll get a little giant to the west and super cities. So here we go. This is what they give us. So very interesting. Now we've put in parameters. We're looking for anything historical related to buildings or historical markers, capitol buildings, forts, and boom, this is what we get. So we can see we have a lot more actually in the area that you're not supposed to be in, the neutral zone. And how surprising, or not, very little in these super metropolis hubs. Very little, surprisingly. A moment ago we saw a mosque. Let's just have a little go at one of these. Let's click, and here we go. The remains of the 2nd century Roman temple. I'm not even gonna pronounce it. There it is. Look at this. Look at the condition. Nobody cares. Look at the trash back here. Trash, columns sticking out of the ground. Beautiful fountain piece just laying on its side. Perfect. Exactly what I was looking for. And now I'm going to thumbs up it. I'm also going to add it to my favorites. Okay, let's see what it looks like. So I am limited to the types of maps that are free for us to use on this app that we've made. This is so heavy. Of course, this research is more than one person. I don't even know how to say this. A lot of my research seems to be accidental, but I know better. Sometimes I don't move until I'm inspired to move, and then I'm overwhelmed with what something was trying to show me. This is the end point. I guess all I can do is try to move backward. Let me back up a little bit. So I'm looking at this region in Syria, and essentially it all started with this city of giants, Bashan, that was described in an old book in the 1850s. A priest who wrote the book, the priest was astounded that there were empty cities, beautiful stone cities fit for giants. He mentioned some looked like they had been finished yesterday and abandoned, stone doors on hinges. And we in this community understand this as the Greco-Roman architecture. We in this time have been sold a Roman narrative, these sandal-wearing people that traded and conquered and built cities only to abandon them, only to experience the downfall of their civilization, leaving all these ghost cities. But when you couple it with the Bible and those stories, or even those in the 1850s of priests and their accounts, we discover that there's so much more to this story than skirt-wearing sandal people. I'm sure you could accomplish a lot in a skirt and sandals, but is that really logical? Are you the builders the king has sent for? Yes, we are the builders. You don't look like you could move a wine barrel. We can't. Well, I'll tell the king you've arrived. Is there a bathroom nearby? We've traveled many miles. You can go behind those trees. I don't know about this job. So here to the east, this rabbit hole has led me to these points, these super metro cities. Super. Looking like the greatest cities in this whole area from up here. And this part of the world is behind. I mean, we shouldn't have these cities and these super highways connecting them, looking like stars, star cities. And this poor area just caught in the middle of modern politics, and yet something very old is going on out here. Something is being buried. I immediately would love to visit these cities. What could be discovered in these super cities now in ruins? And war is a tool, and not a tool for the agenda we're told it's used for. This area is a problem to those in control. And I've said the same thing in even North America. Testing in the Nevada desert. All over. Testing. Or is that just what we are told? Plain of jars. Also, giant artifacts and history in this region, and we're told the largest campaign ever, dropping projectiles around the clock for months. They have a term, it's called carpet bombing, like rolling out the carpet of destruction. So one of these cities the other day, and I don't know which one it was, but the highways were completely littered with debris. God, I wish I could drop the man down here. How about this supermarket? Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Stone blockage in ruins. Come on. And they have to give us something. Here we go, a super mosque in this town. And I think a lot of these cities are being cleaned up and being prepared for the future. But this is unbelievable, the scale of engineering and organization, and almost no cars. Very few cars or people. A lot of it seems abandoned, but yet I believe people are living here, and they will soon be displaced. This reminds me of the Mormon story I recently discussed, where the Mormons were discovering towns with houses unoccupied encouraging their members to move into them. And out here, I think people, including us, we were so bold, could also move into one of these homes. But you probably would face a lot of other problems. So, super metros everywhere. I can't wait to explore all of these sites. But what I want to show you is this area. So then I thought, God, if these are all old ancient cities, what is all of this stuff over here? For example, you see this dark gray, they represent the cities. I also said they look like stars, all linked, super advanced, not just goat herders. But anyway, I thought, God, what if this was just a super city, this gray mass? These just all towns, actually. And at one point, this gray mass was all a mega city, now erased. And you can see how the super city, such as this one, Isra, connects to this mass. This mass is just totally cooked out. Let's look here, for example. Starting to see just the footprint of the buildings, as you can see here. Old walls and roads. Even here, we see the road. Here they've cleaned it up, and now it fades into soup. Like everything has been so heated and momentarily liquefied. I mean, you can see it, right? And then you see the husk of the town. And now this continues for hundreds of miles. So like I was saying, these super cities that I thought were super cities are actually towns, big towns, what would be cities to us today. But this was a mega city here. Of course, I don't know. I should just say that. But I've shown you an example on the edge. And let me just put a pin here. And I'll show you the next pin that I placed, where I just paused and feels like what I could only call a download was given to me. So here it is now. Everything fading, but still seeing the faintest footprint. Almost becoming unrecognizable. Now, again, what we often explore on this channel, just anomalous lines in the middle of nowhere, imprints of structures totally cooked out. And let me just go to my pin now, which I think is way out here, way beyond these city limits. I found myself way out here, and let's zoom into my pin. Now, it's so cooked out here. I mean, a carpet has been rolled out 100-fold compared to everything we're seeing to the west. And now we're just seeing the faintest traces of these cities. And that's when it brought me to this realization. This looks like where I live, in places where they drill for oil. You have all these roads in the middle of nowhere leading to these sites, and I've been studying the oil wells, and these are it. These are the locations that they are totally aware of. These become future oil wells. They come in, blaze their roads, bring heavy equipment to erase as much as they can, and then they drill. Drill, baby, drill. All these future oil wells, and actually past remains of a people. And again, this is titled Old Elk and His Squaw. I wish they wouldn't call me Old Elk. I'm only 30. I wish they wouldn't call me Squaw. Well, at least they're not calling you Old Squaw. You should get over it. And because I think the idea of perfection is perhaps a disease, I'm gonna end this video here. I encourage you all to let go of perfection. Thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed our exploration. I love you all. God bless, and I'll see you next week.